All right, so Three Ninjas Podcast, Domino, Hess, Jones, Bobby. And we got a special guest on the line right now. Hopefully it's recording through this Zoom. I do not know what's going on. Let me check on my end. Boom, boom, boom. Recording, boom. All right, we good. All right, so early on in our podcast venture, we had the first half of this show. Well, the first half of this guest's show on our show. And now we got the other half. So now we got the Grand Duchess of Tech. We got the Ting of the North.
Hey.
We got Mrs. Tatiana King Jones on the motherfucking line. Miss Tatiana, thank you for joining us in the dojo.
Thank you for having me here. Really happy and excited to be here. Happy that I get to rep the other half of For All Nerds.
Word. Shout out to For All Nerds. Now, first thing I want to ask you, right? We as humans have been through a lot this year. You know, we as black people have been through a lot this year. We as fans of entertainment have been through a lot this year. You know, film, music, comic book, sports, etc. First thing I want to ask you, sister, how are you doing? How are you holding up? Are you good?
Am I dying? Am I
like, are you good?
Something
are you
like that.
What's your mental health like today?
Drinking a lot of Hennessy.
You too? Oh shit!
I also have the Zeus on the side too. So I'm not drinking my sorrows away, but I'm doing a lot of introspection. I'm doing a lot of writing. Doing a lot of recalibration of the things I used to do pre-COVID. Like I feel like you know how you have like BC times, like when you talk about dinosaurs and stuff like that. I feel like there's a before COVID and after COVID time. So we're in AC now, I guess. But just reflecting on how I was living before and what I was doing, and right now I'm just learning to slow down.
Just learning to slow down.
Yeah.
So now to you, what was worse, 2020 or the end of Game of Thrones?
Wow. I don't think anything can compare to real life death. But 2024, sure. Game of Thrones was painful for many, many different reasons. But at the end of the day, we had a really successful podcast because of it. Castle Black. So there was still a silver lining there. But yeah, 2020 is the absolute worst.
Trash. Trinity dash.
Garbage.
So now this bald-headed bitch that we call 2020, right?
Cynthia.
Cynthia.
Right.
Oh, Cynthia Doll. Yeah.
Cynthia.
Yeah.
So now as of Friday, we learned that 2020 also took our king Chadwick Boseman from us. And you actually had the opportunity to meet Chadwick Boseman at a premiere, I believe. What was the interaction like?
Well, it was for his 21 Bridges premiere, so this was just this November. So it's like 8 months ago. Here's the thing about Chadwick, like it's funny like hearing the things you hear about him, like, oh, he's so nice, he's so this, he's so that. But I'm always like, all right, let me see what this person actually shows up, how they really are. And when I say his aura, like his energy about him was so calm, and he was just so inviting, and he I don't know. Like I've met a lot of celebrities and a lot of people on the red carpet, and a lot of times they give off this air like they're just there because the whole you know why I'm here. I'm just here to do my job and get on and get off. Like, even though he had things to do and other people to talk to, like he gave us the time of day. He gave us the capacity to, just vibe with him, to talk with him. He wasn't trying to rush us. Like he was incredibly sincere. It helped that we're all Benjamin and myself were both Howard grads, and he's a Howard grad. He was a Howard grad, and it's hard for me to even say was.
Yes,
but. Just that camaraderie and that familial attitude and that like absolutely helped. But even without that, like him just saying hello to me, hi, how you doing? I'm Chadwick. Like he was just he was a normal person. He had no negative airs about him. It was just really refreshing to meet someone that was just like, yo, what up? He was just cool.
Yeah, just a normal dude, man. Mm-hmm. I don't think we're gonna know the loss that we took until maybe like a year from now or something like that. Until like actual Hollywood gets back moving, and you know they start shooting like the Marvel stuff again. I don't know if we're gonna understand that the loss that we took. Well, I mean, black people know the loss that we took because
we know.
Yeah, we know.
We know. Otherwise, this outpouring wouldn't have been as great as this. I mean, this is like a global outpouring right now. The entire diaspora is just shook off of it. It's like he long live the king. At the end of the day, he's always going to be King Chadwick. But this was devastating.
Mm-hmm. Now, people on Twitter seem to be torn as to what to do with the role of Black Panther in the MCU. You know, most people, seem to be like, oh, they should honor Chadwick. They should, maybe recast him. And the man ain't even cold on the ground yet. Other people say, leave it alone. No one can replace him. Put a bow on the bitch. Done. What do you think we should do with the mantle of Black Panther when it comes to the MCU?
Right. Well, do you kind of touch on it? Like right now, I think everybody should be respectful and shouldn't be talking about any of that because like I think Screen Rant did it like the same night it was announced that he passed. Like
fuck Screen Rant.
They put up a I'm sorry, can I cuss here?
Yeah.
Okay.
Definitely. They put up a really fucked up article that was just like, okay, so what's gonna happen to Black Panther 2? And it's just like that's what's on your mind. That's what's important to you.
Mm-hmm.
It was. I don't know. It was just disheartening. But I mean, just from a and again, I'll try to separate it because it's an empathetic side to it, and there's if we're just talking logic, comic book type side. And for all we know, it's already happening. But they're probably going to pass the mantle on to Shuri. I mean, that's already written in the stories. There's pretext for that. So that's the thing to do. As far as what I personally feel like I don't have any personal feelings about right now because I don't think we should be talking about that.
Mm-hmm. Right. Great answer. Now, we want to really get into your backstory and see where, For Our Nerves really, kind of came from. Yeah. So now, Tatiana, where are you from?
Where am I from?
Yeah, where you from?
Oh, from East New York, Brooklyn. I say that like someone saying you're back to me, but I am from East New York, Brooklyn. Do you want like my whole background, like a real
whole backstory? Where your mom work, where your dad works, siblings, all that good shit.
You know how them. You know how them, the password questions work. What's your childhood? What was your high school name? What was your mascot?
Yeah, what was your?
But no, grew up in New York. I will say when it comes to For All Nerds, it was just kind of at this point I feel like it's Providence. For All Nerds started by Combat Jack. It was an offshoot of the Combat Jack show. He had his and really that was kind of like the dawn of podcasting around that time. But he had his Combat Jack show was all about hip hop. Had 30 million niggas on there, and him, Ben Amin, and a few other people wanted to talk more about like geek stuff, more about comic book stuff like that. So they did like an offshoot, and they went down from 30,000 niggas to like 15 to like 10. Right. So of course there's just too many niggas. But they were having a great time. But when you're Combat Jack, you have a lot of responsibilities, a lot of things going on around your life, and and other people that you want to uplift and help get them on their path. So he gave the reins over to Ben Amin, and he was just like, look, man, I need you to continue this and just continue to build it. Ben Amin's whole thing was, I can't be on a podcast talking about geek stuff with 10 niggas, like just 10 dudes.
Right.
It's just doing too much for him.
Too much testosterone,
basically, was it 7 years now? He basically put out an APB on Twitter. It was like, I'm looking for women who want to talk about geek culture, who are into comics, who are into gaming, who are into all of that type stuff. I had just come off of another podcast that was about nerd stuff. And I was just like, me. I didn't know him personally, but I knew about his website. Because he used to have a website where he would release, like, because he's a DJ from Howard. So he would always release all this music, like, this was before, like, when was this? This was like during the time or right after the time of like Napster and all that other shit.
Yeah.
So like, this is on that Piff level where you just go on some site to get all the music and all the albums. So That's how I knew him. That tweet came across. I was like, fam, hit me. I'm good for this. I DM'd him. Now talk to him a little bit about, this is me. Fast forward, we do basically a test episode. I'm not supposed to even say where we were because we weren't supposed to be there. But afterwards, we're not supposed to be there. But we were at a very special studio in New York City. We had our very first episode. It was me, myself. It was me, Jamie Rigetti, another woman there, amazing girl. Chico Leo and DJ Ben Ami.
Chico Leo, shout out to Chico Leo.
Chico Leo, the God.
The God.
So we did our first episode. We had great chemistry between the four of us. It was really cool. And they said, all right, come back. I think it was the next day or maybe a couple of days later. They were like, all right, come back again. Let's do another episode. And on that episode, we interviewed Prodigy from Mobb Deep.
Oh, okay.
So like right away, I got thrown into the fire. Like, okay, now, not only are you going to be in this podcast with people you don't know, and you talking about stuff that I hope you know what you're talking about. You're going to give you a big time guest like that, and it still went well. I had worked on the podcast I worked on previously was a live podcast, so it was no room for error and stuff like that. And maybe that helped prep me. But with this, it was pre-recorded, so if you fucked up, they can fix it. But after that point, they was like, "Yo, we want to keep everybody." Again, fast forward now, a few years later, the host changed. Like people switch in and out, but we still all love each other. Like I still fucks with Jamie Rigetti, still fucks with Chico Leo heavy. But it ended up being like me, Ben, and like a rotating third guest. Third host. And then after a while, I was like, all right, just me and Ben's gonna helm this, and then we'll always bring in other hosts or other guests. And you have where you have now, where it used to be called Fan Bros. The Bros was a little out of hands, a little out of pocket after a while. It wasn't really inclusive.
Was it?
It was a little out of pocket after a while. Like at first it was cool, but then I blame white people because
they fucked them people.
Listen, they started doing what they do, which is the dude bros. Gatekeepers started showing up, and then people started saying, "Oh, here come," and they weren't talking to us. They were just saying it in general. That, "Oh, here come the bros telling us what we can and cannot do in comics, and what we can and cannot have fun in." And then at one point, people started using the term these fan bros. Now they didn't mean us, but the point is this connection started being made that this negative connotation.
Sounds so much like
we
niggers
were like,
for me.
oh no, this can't stand. And really at the end of the day, it wasn't really gender inclusive. Like it was just people were having the wrong impression before they even heard a word out of our mouths. They saw fan bros and was like, oh no. Not us. So we made a decision 3 years. It's almost 3 years ago now to change to For All Nerds. Funny enough, Fan Bros was the fan and Fan Bros was always an acronym for All Nerds.
Right.
It was an easy adjustment for us. And here we are, still going strong, doing big teams, and I'm really proud of it.
Okay. Now you rotated co-hosts quite a bit. Now, why is that? Is it just, was it a conflict between the hosts? Was it just like a conversation between you and Ben? Like, hey, this person ain't gonna work. Yo, you hated Jeff J.
No, it was no conflict. There wasn't a point of conflict. It was just people's lives changed, people's opportunities changed, and like just being able to. First of all, I mean, but podcasting takes a lot of work and a lot of dedication, especially if you're like dead ass about it.
Right.
You're going to really spend the time. You're going to sit there and do the research, and to this day we're independent. Like we're independently funded. We independently produce it. Just recently got an engineer, but like we used to do absolutely everything. Edit, me like learn to edit shows. Just do everything ourselves. So anyway, point is lots of work that goes into it, and sometimes everyone still has day jobs and other shit going on. I still have a full time, so like it just didn't fit in a lot of people's schedules, and things changed. And I there was no and like I said, there was never a negative thing to it. It was just people's lives change, and it didn't necessarily fit into their life in that way no more. And that again still okay because we were still cool. And as you know, like even to this day, sometimes Chico Leo will pop up on a show.
Yeah.
Just because he can. Like, I for some reason I can't be there or Ben can't be there. He'd be like, oh, he'll step in to help. So it was just a matter of circumstance.
Okay. Now, are y'all still on loudspeakers?
Yeah, we're still loudspeakers. We're still loudspeakers. We're still LSN all day, every day.
Okay.
Just like that's the label we under. But
okay, like y'all niggas like death row.
No, for real. But that's not label. But no, like the Reed, the friend zone, they're all our label mates, if you will. But no, we still independently do everything ourselves. So
okay.
Yeah.
All right. Now, just to backtrack a little bit. Now, where did your fandom start? Like, when did you realize that you were like a blurred?
My whole life.
Your whole life.
Entire life. I remember the very first Christmas I remember, and I still have the picture. I got like a Super Nintendo that I asked for, and a bunch of Barbie dolls that I asked for, and like some RC cars. And that has pretty much been my DNA my entire life. I think I was 6 or 7. I don't know, something like that.
Right.
I was mad young, but point is, like, that's just how it's been. Like, maybe proximity to my brothers. Like, I have younger brothers. The closest one to me is 3 years in age. So we would always like just kind of be about the same stuff. We be about engineering and gaming and everything along those lines, like anime. Like we would just do that stuff together. So. And it was just shit that really just excited me and just made me like happy. Like I've always loved like animation and all that stuff. We'll be here all day talking about all the stuff I like. The point is, it's always been in my heart. It's how I've into it. That's just me. That's just how I roll.
Now, growing up in Brooklyn, how was being a nerd like? Because I know that's not the coolest shit to be.
No. Well, it's interesting because right like my last 3 years of high school, I was actually living in Maryland. And my parents are divorced, so I would go back and forth between my dad and my mom.
Okay.
And it wasn't. I would say that whole geek stuff didn't become a situation or a factor into high school, because that's when guys even paid attention to me at that point. Like,
right.
Dudes wasn't paying me no mind in elementary school, middle school, all that stuff. Like half the time people wasn't even thinking about that. I had grown up in a predominantly Latino area, so I wasn't the one they were looking for anyway. I'm darker skinned. They wasn't checking for me. But it wasn't until later on in high school where it's like I guess people started checking for me, and that's when people was like, oh, what you into? Thankfully, I fell into a group with a group of people who was about that life. Like the people who I like, we would sit there and have. Basically pulling each other's geek cards just all day long, and we would talk about like what we talk. Oh God, we would have these debates about Batman Beyond.
Shit.
We would quiz each other on like different gaming systems. Like I remember I like played somebody to the left because they was all like oh, she don't know nothing about gaming. We was talking about the Dreamcast or some shit.
Dreamcast, legendary.
Yeah. Legendary system, underrated system, but like we were just going back and forth for that. We were like, yo, bet you don't know this. How many bits is in a Dreamcast? I'm like 128. Like I said that shit mad fast. I was running down all the specs, and it was like, yo, we getting up screaming. But I at that point I realized, well, fuck what anybody else says to the contrary. Like this shit is cool. Like this shit is fun. And I was again surrounded by people who was with it. Like the kids I was with, they were skateboarding, watching anime, getting in trouble, but like everybody was cool, and it was girls and guys. Like there was of all different backgrounds, so it was never. I never had the typical, oh, she's a geek, stay away from her. Now, that isn't to say people ain't call me geek all day, every day,
right.
Or nerd, family particularly, but it was never like, I was crying down all the time.
Yeah, man, fuck them. That's all right. It's cool.
Yeah.
Now, going to high school in Maryland, is that what influenced you to go to Howard?
No, actually, I didn't know shit about HBCUs. I didn't know shit about the history of it. Like, I'm the first person. I'm the first person in my family to go to a 4-year.
Wow.
My sister had previously got her associates. So nah, like I had no, and if I did, I didn't realize it, but I didn't have any particular references to it. I just knew like it was a Black school. It was different than everything I've experienced. Like every time I've gone to public school my whole life, and it's always been generally mixed with more white people.
Right.
And I was just like, yo, it would be dope to go to a college where it was generally all Black people. Like it would be different. Maybe the proximity was good because if I ever wanted to go back to see family, they were right there. So I think it was just really because it was black. It was blackness where I was just like, yo, I need to experience that. And thankfully I was accepted, and the rest is history.
So now you earned a bachelor in business administration. Now, is that what initially that you wanted to go to school for?
No, I actually came in as an engineering major. I was a computer science major. So I did that for 2 years. Said this shit is whack. I didn't like basically to do all that. Like you had to take all the maths known to man, and you had to basically sit up in the lab all day, every day, coding. And I've always been about like, if I'm going to code, I'm going to learn on my own. I can do it on my own time. I can do it when I feel like it. I don't like sitting there being told when I gotta just be with it and then be there all day, like literally sleeping in labs, computer rooms. So I was like, hell no. So I try to find something that let me use the analytical part of my personality along with the creative part, because I would say I'm pretty balanced in that. And marketing came along, so I was just like, hell, maybe this will work. So I ended up moving over to the School of Business and graduating with a degree there.
Okay. Now, did you see the future in what you found your interest in, or did you just like think like, hey, I'm gonna take a marketing degree and just take whatever I can get?
I don't know. I think the other reason why I remember this conversation. The other reason why I decided to do marketing because I felt like I can do almost anything in business. Like I knew that if I and right now at first it was about money. It was just like, yo, what degree can I get where I know I could get paid?
Right.
And still be able to do a little bit of stuff that I like. And that's why marketing was attractive.
Right.
And I think that was really this initially what it was. And then also like right around my last year, that's when Twitter and all that stuff started coming up. And then those new opportunities started rising up. I was like, oh, tech and marketing. Oh, there's a connection there. So I did see a little bit of the future with the advent of social media. But now at first it was all about, yo, how can I get paid?
Right.
Yeah.
Now, when you get into like the real tech side of everything, because you call yourself the Grand Duchess of Tech, how do you ingratiate yourself in the tech world with a marketing background?
Yeah, same thing as like when you asked me like when I know I was a geek and stuff. My whole life, I was taking apart computers just at an early age. I was just curious of how does this work.
Right.
The very first time, like. And this is back in the day, so like when you had that, you had your stupid fucking old ass IBM PC.
Yeah, I remember those days.
And like one day, like I forgot something didn't like it wasn't working. Oh, that's what it was. The PC wasn't turning on, and we couldn't figure out what was going on. Come to find out something wrong with the power supply. So we took it to the shop. This is when you was taking computers to shop.
Yeah.
They came back, they fixed it, presumably came back, I plugged that bitch in, boom, turn on, awesome, great. AOL online, great. But then like the CD-ROM stopped working. And I was like, wait. When I gave you this bitch,
nigga, I need
it was fine. And when I come back, I got a problem. So I sat there like, I'm not gonna like, because to me it was like, I know this costs mad money to get fixed. I'm not gonna do that to my moms like that. I said I gotta figure this out. So I found the manual for the computer. I opened and I found like there was a page that actually showed like the schematics, like showed the motherboard and all that stuff. So then I opened up the computer and just kind of did a side-by-side comparison, and then read all of the parts, figured out what each part did, and then figured out what was supposed to look like versus what it looked like in front of me. And then I found that an IDE cable was unplugged. It's basically the cable that plugs the motherboard to the CD-ROM.
Yeah, you did it on purpose.
That part. That's what I knew. I was like, damn, they unplugged this shit on purpose so that we would have to keep going back. So that we fix something, we break something. She come back to fix it, we're gonna break something else. So they have to continuously come back. And once that happened, I said, never again will I be in a position where I don't know what's going on when it comes to computers. Never again will I be in a position where I'm not informed. So I've from that point on, and again, that's like, I don't know, 10 or something. From that point on, I was just like, just into it, just learning about how it works, learning about software, hardware. Again, started a little bit of coding, learning how to use operating systems. Like I just fell into it because it was all around the whole engineering aspect of everything I liked, and I thought it was cool. And I kept it moving, and that's why to this day, I'm the Grand Duchess of Tech. I basically what I really focus on is consumer tech and helping people learn how to use it.
All right, now you got our own fucking Riri Williams out here. Before she was Riri.
Smart as Riri, but yeah.
Other than that, congrats on the Marvel Voices thing.
Thank you. I forgot that was this year, yo.
Yeah, fam, I forgot that was, we talked to Rob Markman. I forgot we talked to that nigga this year about the same shit.
2020 is such a bitch that I did not it wasn't because I think I was thinking about it like last week. I was like, oh bitch, that was February of this year.
Yeah, like fam, like you fucking bald-headed hoe.
Thank you very much. Yeah, it was an amazing, incredible experience. Shouts out to Rob. Rob's my boy. Shout out to the whole Marvel Voices crew. Like that was wild as fuck.
Now, how did that opportunity come across your table?
You know what? Just knowing the right people, being in the right places at the right time, and putting in effort.
Right.
And lots of time, that's really what it comes down to. Are you putting in the work? And do you know the right people? And the opportunity came to me, and I was just like, hell yeah. But I didn't know I don't think I realized the extent of the impact, because like I was told like, oh, you want to write for Marvel, you will have an essay that appears on Marvel's site. I was like, it's me. It's me, for all nerds, Grand Duchess, all that. It makes sense. And you want to write about tech and Riri and all. So I was like, fuck yeah. So I was writing it. I had a blast. I wrote it really quick. Edited, boom, done out the door. I was like, cool. Didn't hear nothing about it for a little bit. I was just like, I did my job. I'm feeling good. I got paid.
Yes, what up? I got paid.
Again, you see the pattern. I'm just like, am I getting paid?
Yeah.
But I got paid for doing something that I like.
Right.
There it is. Then it pops out. It's on the website. All the big news. I'm really excited about that. Didn't know Marvel was gonna be like pushing it on their own socials. I was just like, oh.
Yeah. Real thing.
2 million people. Okay, this is for real.
You out here.
And on the actual site, I was like, all right, cool. What I did not realize was that they were gonna put an excerpt in the actual fucking comic book.
Right.
And that my name is in print in the comic
bold
book.
Yeah, not Queen. In bold by Tatiana King Jones.
So that was shocking, and something I didn't know was gonna happen. Shocking in a great way. I didn't know it was gonna happen. And then being with Angelique Roche, who helped kind of get that all together. Karen Horn, just everybody that was there. Rob, like everybody that was there. That we were at Anyone Comics, and we did a signing there, and that was surreal. I had a little bit of out of body experience. Almost like first of all, I showed up late because I was running late, so I ran up in there like, oh, what's up? And then as soon as I walk and literally take 2 steps, someone says, yo, can you sign my comic book? And I said, huh?
Yeah, it gets real.
And then it was like, yeah, can you sign it? I know you did your essay. And I'm like, in my head, I'm like, I think you're confused. I did do the essay. My shit ain't in here. And then they turned to the page where my name was in it. And I was like y'all can't see me right now. The people can't see me. But I just froze. I froze. Like I was just like, oh shit. And then I was like, yo, Tati, act like you know what's going on. And I was like, yeah. What's up? So I go ahead and I sign it and give it to them. I was in shock. That whole night. It was cool.
Now, do you feel like that you've made it when it comes to like the geek realm? Like, do you feel like you're one of those names that need to be mentioned when it comes to like either blurredom or like just women geeks, or just like in general, like the nerd geek realm?
I think that absolutely my name should be mentioned. This year was one of the years I said I'm not doing that humble shit. I'm
the fuck I'm talking about black women. Get the fuck out of here, nigga.
I mean that to say I'm not gonna cower behind fear, and recognize my influence and my power, and recognize my potential. So in that way, yes, I feel like my name should be said with those in the geek culture space, especially as a black woman. Do I feel like I made it? Absolutely, positively not.
Okay.
I'm nowhere near what I can achieve and where I can be. Personally feeling.
Okay. All right. If you say so. Okay, cool.
I have a long way to go. And again, that's not a put down for myself. Like I know I've achieved some great things. I think there's quite a long journey to go and way more to accomplish.
I mean, you could say that, but a lot of us haven't been made into Marvel characters like you have. So now like in like March, I think it was, like they made you into an actual Marvel character where it was like they made a drawing of what you wanted to be. Like, now, what was that like to be like, hey, Marvel is coming to me and asking me what I want my character to be, my costume, my layout, whatever the fuck. Like, how was that?
Well, the first thing I asked, y'all gonna pay me?
Yo, give me my money, nigga.
It's like, look, fam, this is Marvel / Disney / Mickey from the block. Like, I know y'all got it. Number one, and number two, the second thing I thought was like, well, I'm giving y'all IP. Like, this is my thoughts, my way of what I think a character should look like. So you're taking my creativity. So that long story short, all that shit belongs to them. That's a very airtight contract. That's theirs. So and that's fine. I went into it with that understanding, so it was cool. But that experience, I had some time to think about all different aspects of the character, what the character looked like, why they existed, what their powers were, what they did with their powers, why. Share that, and again, this was like a couple of months long process. Share that with them. Then like a couple months later, we actually did the filming. So we actually went into their offices in the city, filmed the whole thing. During in between that time, they actually gave my ideas, like literally all the shit I wrote down. They gave all that to the artist. And they drew it. So they were drawing it, while I was sitting there like la 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 la, just completely oblivious. And then we recorded, and during the actual recording, like the in-person on camera recording, was when they revealed the image to me. So I was hoping y'all people who watched it couldn't really tell, but I was almost on the floor bursting in tears because I literally that was my first time seeing it. And she was pretty as hell. My character didn't have a name. Pretty as hell, like black girl, unmistakably black girl. And it was just to see that shit come alive. Come alive was just one of the most incredible, perfect feelings I've ever felt. So I think because I'm also a writer, it's just seeing your words get interpreted in such a beautiful way was really impactful.
Right.
Yeah. So I was just like, yo, I'm a thug. I can't be crying. But
I'm a thug. I'm from Brooklyn, nigga. I can't be crying. What the fuck is tears?
I can't be crying. Not on camera. They wanted that too, because that's good for TV. Like they wanted that, I could tell. But I was holding them tears back so hard.
Yeah.
I was like, this is beautiful. Yeah. So you might see my eye look glassy if you watch that clip.
Yeah, that's all right, son.
That's all right, son. That's my shit, son.
Sorry, you doodled a little bit, you know.
You doodled a little bit.
and again, another thing where I was shocked at how it was received. It was received well. There was also because what would the internet be without actually people, right? There was some people like, you just described Symmetra from Overwatch, and I'm like, nigga, nobody was thinking about no fucking Symmetra.
Right.
Yes, they're similar and all this other stuff. Yes, there's things that cross intersect, but like nobody was fucking thinking about that. Like, who gives a damn? But generally, amazing feedback. I had mentioned that my character was a technomancer, and then the author who literally invented the term technomancer saw the video and was like, "Oh, that's cool." And I almost had a heart attack because I'm like, "Holy shit!" Like like people who I wouldn't necessarily have access to is seeing my stuff, and I'm putting another black character in the world, like an original black character. So it was cool to say the very least.
Right. Now, if you had to pick a world to be in, what would you be a part of? Star Trek or Marvel?
Why would you do this?
I got to, baby. What you want me to do?
Shit, man. Okay, listen.
So you could be a technomancer in Marvel, or you can be, whatever you want to be in Star Trek.
Okay, here's the thing. Star Trek is my life.
I know. I know.
I love Star Trek. But I do want powers, bro. I want powers. And also I want to say shout out to Nelson Blake III. He's the artist that drew me as into a Marvel hero. But I want powers. I gotta have some. I got powers. I get to smack that shit out of like Professor X or somebody. Like
Yo, do niggas really not like Professor X like that?
He a bald-headed scallywag.
Yeah.
Shout out to Steph I Will. She came with that. Follow Steph I Will on Twitter. She's fucking hilarious. But maybe understand how much of a fuck up he really is. So.
Nah, that nigga really do be like on some other shit. That nigga really like Splinter. Like, if you read like the first issue of the Ninja Turtles, he was really brainwashing them turtles to do whatever the fuck they wanted. He's like, go kill this nigga, and then like, all right, come back.
Nah, CPS needs to get on Professor X's ass. He don't have no business being around these impressionable young children, children like at all. But I in that context, and I'm sorry, LeVar Burton and everybody, but
Butterflies.
I gotta go with Marvel.
I mean, hey, personal preference. I get it.
Yeah, it's just because I want the powers. I'm selfish. So.
Nah, I get it. Fuck it. Nah. Hell yeah. Picking powers too.
I can't fly in outer space. Like, come on, man. Like in Star Trek, like,
Yeah, you got to compete with green motherfuckers and all that. Nah, I'm good. Now,
we basically live in Star Trek right now. So almost.
Yeah, nah. I mean,
except for without the utopia.
Yeah. I mean,
joy minus the joy.
It's kind of asks, would you like being on Earth right now? Would you like being in space?
Space.
Yeah, for real.
Put me on the International Space Station ASAP. I'm good.
Yeah. Pluto look tempting right now.
Pluto look mad the fuck good right now.
Right. Now, you've been doing this show for about 7 years, I want to say, right?
Yeah.
Okay, now when did the Wesley Snipes obsession come in?
Well, I didn't start that. That was started by. I feel like that was still an offshoot from Combat and everybody. But and rest in peace, rest in power, Reggie.
Right.
I feel like that was an offshoot of them and Ben and all that. But I mean, I jumped on board because it made sense to me. Like it was just that Wesley Snipes was like the penultimate black hero. We had Blade and all the other stuff, and it was just like he's just kind of. I mean, I feel like it's a little less now, but he was just basically like a mythical person to us.
Mm-hmm.
And at the time, he was like one of the highest people you could have had on the show. And then it was just at first like it was just a funny thing, and then it just became a thing. It became a question we asked people, like, what's your favorite Wesley Snipes film? And we would ask that to all of our guests because we would get some incredible answers, and it just stayed like that.
What's your favorite?
Until recently.
What's your
my favorite?
Yeah, what's your favorite Wesley Snipes film?
Blade 1.
Mm-hmm.
Not Blade 3.
Why niggas be shitting on Blade 3 like that?
Nah, that shit really is bad.
I mean, it really is bad.
Yeah, Triple H in that shit. I don't want.
Triple H.
Nah, right. Probably Blade. Yeah.
Didn't he suplex Dracula in that shit?
Mm-hmm.
He suplexed Dracula?
I believe so.
Nigga, I'm with it. Yo, I'm with black niggas doing anything right now. Yo, fuck it.
Yeah. Yeah, he was just, it's just his attitude and demeanor, at least on camera. His attitude and demeanor was just defiant as fuck, and I'm gonna do what I want to do. And you could tell that he didn't take shit from people. So
I mean, when you can lift your leg that high and kick niggas, I wouldn't take shit from niggas either. Shit. Fuck that. I know martial arts, nigga. I'm not Michael Jai White.
Shout out to Michael Jai White. He's a big supporter of our show. We really love him. So he actually should take the place of Wesley.
Yeah,
Wesley curves us on the daily. So.
Yeah, I mean, Michael. When I heard Michael Jai White on your episode, it was kind of awkward. It sounded like he didn't want to be there. He didn't want to be like, cause like the way that we are used to Michael Jai White, well, the way that we see him isn't the way he was on the episode. So it was like, you know, you think of Black Dynamite, you think of comical, you think of what's the fucking Tyler Perry shit?
Animated.
Yeah, it was just like he was just real like Kawhi Leonard type. Like he was just real stuff.
I assure you, he wanted to be there. He was actually really happy to see us because this was her second time being on the show. The first time he was actually driving on the way to go. Like he was driving from LA to somewhere an hour away to like pick up his kid or something. And the audio was terrible. It was like
we had a nigga that was eating while they was giving an interview.
I mean, it was terrible, but he was into it. And then the second time we got to speak with him, he was in town in New York. It was the Black Film Festival, and so we were in like sitting in person. We had like a little mobile situation going. No, he wanted to be there, but no, he's just not animated. Like he seems very serious. But like he's a really nice guy, and I know people say that they're like, "Oh, he's a nice guy," and then or they say, "Oh, my dog doesn't bite," and then it proceeds to bite you.
Yeah,
he been through a lot. You know, he got shot with a shotgun before, right?
He got shot with a shotgun. When?
Yeah, he got shot with a shotgun in his hand.
In his hand?
Yeah.
Shout out to Bridgeport, nigga. We tough.
Wow.
Gang.
That's real. But no, he's just I just think it's because he has a very like serious tone and air about himself, but he's very, very introspective, and he gives gems all the time. But no, he wanted to. He may have been tired, but he was like, we were like, "Are you okay? Do you have time?" He said, "I have enough time for you guys." That's what he said to us.
Okay.
He said, "I have plenty of time for you guys." So I was like, "All right, cool."
Yeah. Now, what guest sticks out the most in your 7 years, if you could think of one? Because you've done a lot of interviews. You've done a lot of, either in person or people on the phone. Like, what interview sticks out where it was like, all right, maybe I didn't expect this person to give me as many gems? Or
right.
Yeah.
I mean, Michael is a very good one because like he really like when I talk about like gems, I mean he gives game. Like he gives you game from an industry perspective. He gives you game from an OG perspective. Even though he's not necessarily a podcaster, he's in the industry. We're all in the entertainment industry. So like the lessons he would impart upon us every time we speak or see him, like it's incredible. I mean, I think he's up there, but I damn. I don't know if I have like a favorite. I mean, we had Letitia Wright on,
right?
Play Shuri in Black Panther. She was cool. She was different just because like just having a Marvel character basically sitting next to you was amazing.
Yeah, something crazy.
Marvel character. I know this is a cop-out answer, but really, like almost all of our casts are just really incredible.
Oh, boo!
It's true. Like I will say this. 98% of the time, the guests don't know us. Like they're just like, oh, it's just some other fucking podcast. Here we go. And sometimes people even come in with an attitude, like, who's these clowns?
Yeah.
And then within 5 minutes, they're like, oh shit, this is fun. Oh. And then by the end, they're like, oh, it's over?
Yeah.
And I would say like that reaction I love. And again, this is maybe like 98% of them. Like they're like, oh shit, I want to come again. Oh, y'all cool as fuck. And I'm just like, that's why you can't judge. Like you don't know what we about to say, we about to do. Like you don't know what you about to get into with us. Like we gonna find out your life story anyway. So
right, yeah. TMZ or fucking otherwise, we gonna find out about you, my nigga.
At this point, I consider myself an expert. I consider myself a good interviewer. Like I know how to talk to people. So yeah, we get good stories from a lot of people. But I know. Boo, cop out, but I can't pick just one.
Now, initially when you got into the podcast game, did you know what it was going to entail? Like, when you answered the tweet from Ben, it was like, oh, pick me. But did you know that you was going to be interviewing people and getting to know people and, having to do this in-depth research and all this stuff?
Yeah. I assumed as much. What I didn't know until I got there and was very pleasantly surprised was that it was going to be so hip-hop focused.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
you come from Combat Jack and Ben, I mean.
Yeah, like, it wasn't like I was really listening to what they was doing prior, but the fact that they combine hip hop with the culture,
right.
with he can a little bit of pop culture. When I came, we started also going to pop culture, but it just that juxtaposition between saying I fucks with I don't know, like whatever your favorite rapper is, and then the fact that we read in the comic at the same time, like that is my life. Like, that's everything about my life, like and everything about my personality. Like I told you, like Christmas, I wanted the Barbies and I wanted the RC cars. Like that dichotomy, that idea that it can't be just one. You can have both. Why not both? Like the Taco Bell girl says. Like it was cool, and it wasn't, and I was happy that it wasn't like comic book guy, like from The Simpsons. Like it was like, well,
oh yeah,
like all that bullshit. Like I wasn't with it. Like the way that they approached it was like we the cool geeks. Like we like all the quote unquote mainstream cool shit, but at the same time we're gonna educate you about some anime as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Now, have you ever been starstruck with a guest?
No.
No, never.
I can say that absolutely positively no, because there's only two people in this world that I would ever be starstruck, and one has already passed. That's Michael Jackson and Beyonce.
Michael Jackson and Beyonce. Now, do you think that you would get Beyonce on the show, like, ever? Like, do you think that Beyonce would ever be into, like, geek culture or like something that you?
Oh yeah, y'all know that old ass 3DS commercial. She was supposed to have a video game too. She first of all, this girl, I don't know, it was like maybe early 2000s. She did. There's a video out there of her in a mocap suit because she
doing what?
She was like dancing. She was doing all her this was her Sasha Fierce time. So she was doing her choreography. And they was mocapping. Yeah, they was mocapping all her movements because they were going to create a video game.
My nigga, did you see fucking Lion King? Did you see how horrible she was in Lion King? Do you hear how horrible she was in Lion King?
Listen, that's voice acting. Something else. So, and also they were going to animate her. So my whole point is the mocap was just to get her personal movements, but who knows what the fuck the game was supposed to be about. But the fact that she even touched upon that,
Beyonce NBA Jam,
it's a gift now. But like when she was on like a Nintendo 3DS commercial, she's like slamming. I don't know why she's using the stylus so hard. She's slamming the fucking stylus on the screen. Like she's gonna put a hole in it. But
yeah.
She's into it at some point, whether it's never been really pronounced or not. She's got to have some type of interest in it. So. I think we may cross paths. I will always keep it open, put it out in the universe. I would love to even talk to her for half a second, 30 seconds. It would be nice. But you never know.
Now, when it comes to For All Nerds, right? You guys cover comic books and pop culture, but it seems like the anime aspect is missing. Is that something that you guys consciously don't talk about, or it's just like, Ben's not interested in it, so you guys just don't talk about it?
I wouldn't say it's missing. I would say it's not as prevalent. So like,
but anime is a big thing right now.
Yeah, like right now, I think it's just because a lot of people are, because a few months everyone's been in the house, so everyone's getting even more than they were before into Hulu, into Netflix. Netflix has overloaded their servers with mad anime and their original content anime as well. I think this is why we don't talk about as much, is because we talk about so much other stuff too. Ben, I mean, like I know in the last few years he's gotten much more deeply into anime. Me, I've already been, I've already been completely submerged in that world or whatever. But I just think it's like if it naturally comes up as again part of an intersection of stuff we talk about, then we'll mention it. But otherwise, it's also, our show is not an anime focused show. Like in addition, we had an anime focused podcast called Outlaw Bars. It was a riff off of Outlaw Stars anime, and it was hosted by three amazing black women. One was our she passed 3 years ago. Her name was or her screen name was Deadly Diva. Rest in power. But they did an amazing job. It went to about 70 episodes or so. And then, like I said, people's lives changed. She passed, and sometimes that dynamic feels different. You have 3 people who are in sync and all that stuff, and one is gone. That changes the vibe a little bit. But we already had like the way it was all built out. We had more than we still have more than one show, but like even before, like we had a wrestling show and a show that just did TV recaps and a show that was just about anime. And
right.
after a while, like remember, we're doing this all on our own. It gets to be too much. So those just kind of naturally fell into where they fell. So that's why the main show is kind of more a combination of everything in the geek and pop culture space.
Now I know you guys also recently took a break, and also you guys do mad fucking shows. Like y'all do the Castle Black show, y'all do the For All Nerds, y'all got the new one about Lovecraft Country. Now at what point do y'all think like either enough is enough? Like we as creatives, work until like we can't work no more, and like we burn ourselves out a lot of the time. So like at what point do you guys just like like enough is enough? Maybe we can combine one with the other, or like what is the work schedule for y'all? Like when do y'all take a break?
We don't. And that's why I said when you mentioned that we did take a break, I said thank God, because we largely have never taken a break in this entire time, like a real just stop and don't record until this year. And again, this is 6-7 years worth of recording. At most we may have taken a week.
Right.
Maybe week and a half, but never like a full month and a half like we were for the summer. So it was necessary because of exactly what you said, because of burnout. It was necessary because of we're in the AC after COVID time. It's just a lot. I don't think, at least for me, I don't think I get to a point where enough is enough unless I'm doing something where if I'm doing something with other people where the dedication is not there. If I'm going to put my time and effort, and time is the most valuable commodity to me, because you cannot get it back. You cannot create it again.
Absolutely.
Once it's gone, it's gone. If someone isn't respectful of that and putting in the effort and the work, then that's when I'm like, all right, I'm out. Either you're going to do it or not, I'm out.
Right.
And Ben and I have been so dedicated towards the cause. And also for all nerds and everything that's come of it, like, we've gotten additional opportunities and additional life paths because of it. This isn't really something we see that, enough is enough. Like, no, this is the vehicle that's helping us get to where we want to be. Now, one day you might see a version of the show where it's completely different hosts, but we're still going to be there. Like, we're still, still going to be it's going to still be us, still be our brand. We own it. Like it's. There will be things that change, and as we talked about this whole time, like we had different shows, different hosts, different things going on. Stuff is going to change, but as far as for all nerds, like it's basically going to live forever.
Okay. Now we talked about this on the episode earlier, where ownership. Right, you guys, are signed. Oh, I don't know the situation that you guys have with a loudspeaker.
It's that I know she's like, oh, you're signed with Bad Boy, like. No. It's just like when you're part of it. Well, again, different networks. It's different nowadays. Like now, like people like, oh, I'm on Spotify. Like you're signed to Spotify. You have a contract and all that stuff. Yes, all of our shows are signed to different sub networks and all that other stuff. Yes, people are signed to loudspeakers. But as a brand, as a trademark and all that stuff, we own that.
Right.
Like,
okay.
For All Nerds LLC, that's me and Ben.
Good to know.
For All Nerds is me and Ben. like we legally own it. We own our masters. If you want to put it like that.
We need to own our shit. I'm telling you, my nigga.
So we own our masters. And that's. Thank you to loudspeakers for being that, having that freedom, having that foresight. Really thank you to Reggie, because he started this all.
Right.
And he allowed us that creative freedom, and and that network, helped us get opportunities as well. So, even though we're independent of other stuff, like, there are some benefits to being within a network like that. So,
okay.
Yeah.
Now, what's the ultimate goal for For All Nerds? Is it more exposure in like the Twitch gaming realm? Is it, all encompassing interviews where you might get Wesley Snipes? Is it like,
At this point, I don't even give a damn if a man's on or not.
He said, fuck Wesley.
He follows us.
Dude.
He likes our tweets. He curves us on the daily.
Oh, nigga said white man can't jump. It's like, fuck you, nigga.
Like, at this point, I'm like, whatever. Like, I'm over it. But what we see, yes. Definitely Twitch. I mean, we've been doing that since even before the pandemic. But really even going more hard because of the pandemic. Yes, we on Twitch all the time. Like, expanding into visuals a lot more. Like, we also have our YouTube channel, For All Nerds TV, where like all of our like when we are on the red carpets or whatever, all of those interviews go up there. And I think that's like how you saw us talk to Chadwick and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, a lot more of that, a lot more visuals. I mean, we actually are working some things right now in the back that we can't talk about right now, but
oh, you can't talk about it.
Hear about it. No, it's some creative stuff going on.
Okay, I get it.
I mean, all I can say is that we are expanding in ways that are conducive towards our talents.
Can I get $1?
I mean, I don't have no money, so I can't help you there. Like, we're working towards getting the money too. We have a Patreon, patreon.com/4allnerds. I have to plug that because that's actually how we pay to do everything that we do. Like, to pay for our engineer that edits our shows, to pay for the photographers, videographers that come with us or used to come with us before COVID to all of these sites, to pay for travel to get to Comic-Cons and all the other stuff. Like, literally all this money comes from our listeners and the people who have supported us, the fam. So no, I can't give you $1 because I don't have one to give. But I can help with opportunity, and that's one thing I like why I say stuff like For All Nerds can live forever, because my goal is to have For All Nerds continue to be a bridge for other creatives. Like, if we fall into an opportunity where we can bring more people on, we will bring more people on, because that's what we want to do. We want to be that catalyst to expanding the reach of the blurred / Black nerd community. We want to be able to be those people, like to be able to speak up. Like, if we have the mic, we want to make sure we're amplifying it for everybody. And that's really our goal. Our goal, and maybe that's that first word you said, just expand the reach of our reach or our awareness of who we are. That's huge, a huge thing. That's on our minds a lot. So it's also something we're working on.
Okay. Yeah. Now, one last thing I want to ask you, as like, Black people, right? So now, lately, they've been, be it DC or Marvel or just any other property, they've been trying to, like, I guess, put out a lot of Black characters. They recently announced like a Black Batman or whatever the fuck. So now it seems lately they're trying to introduce more and more diverse characters. Do you think it's pandering or it's not genuine? Yes. Or do you think it's okay?
No question.
It's a little bit of both. Okay. There are some people that are in these big houses that are genuinely who have the access, who are genuinely trying to bring on people like me and yourself and and your partners and everybody else, who are genuinely trying to reach out to these communities and help us see ourselves. At the end of the day, Marvel's owned by Disney. Disney is a company, a multinational company. We live in a capitalistic society. Everything is about getting paid. Everything is about going towards what's cute right now. What is cute right now? Writing Black Lives Matter on the ground in your city.
Right.
I said it on Twitter. It's nothing more than Animal Crossing decoration. Non-functional. So my point is, it's cute and fashionable now.
Right.
So yeah, they're gonna jump on the bandwagon. So yeah, it's definitely pandering. I do think there's some of it that may indeed be genuine. But I'm never gonna be naive and be like, oh, they're doing this out of the goodness of their heart. No, they're doing this out of the goodness of the dollar. So,
right.
Let's be real.
Let's be real. Fucking white people ain't low. We see you niggas. You white people ain't low. We see you motherfuckers. We see the play. Like y'all ain't low, but we'll take it. but we see it. So now, I guess that's it. Plug all your shit. Where can they find you? Where can they listen to the podcast? Where can they find you exclusively? All that good stuff.
All right, so boom. You can find us for all nerds, FORALLNERDS on the internet. That is the social medias at For All Nerds. You can email us if you want to get in touch with us. Contact at forallnerds.com. We have a website where we have some I wanted to say exclusive content. That's not true. But we have a website where we have editorial content and original content, forallnerds.com. I mentioned we have our YouTube channel where you can see all of our interviews and things like that. For All Nerds TV on YouTube. We have our Patreon page where if you want to help us financially, help us get even bigger and better and stronger, patreon.com/forallnerds. Oh God, there's so much. Like now that you asking me to say this, I'm like, shit, we're doing too much.
Never doing too much, Queen.
We're never doing too much. We have our Lovecraft Country Focus podcast, which recaps and reviews every episode of Lovecraft Country that's on HBO right now. It's called Safe Negro Podcast. You can follow it, Safe Negro Pod, on IG and on the Twitters. And you can follow me at Tatiana King, TATIAN as in Nancy AKING. I'm that name on all socials unless I'm hiding, and then you would never know who I am. But
gotcha.
That's by design. But yeah, if you're into geek culture, pop culture, the mix thereof. You fucks with us. You fuck with what we talking about, what we're trying to talking about. Come to death row.
Now, also before you get off the line, I just want to tell you thank you, right? Because when I started listening to podcasts, maybe like 4 or 5 years ago, it was like a few that I listened to. I listened to like Bill Burr, Combat Jack, and some other ones. And then I found your podcast through I think it was through Loudspeaker. I want to say.
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
So probably some more than likely, but Combat Jack probably mentioned or whatever. But I didn't know that there was podcasts like that out there where it was like niggas talking about like geek culture and shit like that. So I just want to tell you thank you for like introducing me to like this genre of podcast where it was like I could listen to people like me that like the same shit I like and they're talking about it in depth. So I just want to tell you why you on the line while I'm in your face. Thank you.
Well, I'm happy that us niggas could do it for you.
Shout out to the niggas.
I appreciate being a nigga, talking about geek and pop culture. I think it's fun. I like being able to be myself and not really having to answer to anybody. So I really though, thank you for having me. Thank you for the thank yous. I appreciate your whole team for trying to put this together and making sure that we were able to talk today.
Definitely. Now, usually at the end of our show, we give a pick. So a pick is basically like, a show that you're watching, a comic that you're reading, a game that you're playing, whatever the fuck. Now, if you can give the people that are listening a pick of something to check out, what would it be?
Lovecraft Country.
Lovecraft Country.
You got to watch that. Like read both watch and read it. Read the book by Matt Ruff that the TV show is based off of, and watch the show. You just because you mentioned play, maybe you were talking about games. I'm just going to mention a system overall. If you can afford it, and if you don't have it yet, buy a Switch, a Nintendo Switch.
That's hard to find, man.
Yeah, Switch is hard to find right now. So
get it asaptually right now, right this moment, if you can. I promise you will not be disappointed.
I mean, my co-host Hesh don't want this Pokemon smoke.
We doing that right now?
So it's all good though. It's all good though. You don't want this Pokemon smoke.
I want to hear that when I beat that ass.
Yo, what up though?
Yeah, do it.
All right, cool. Yeah. So Tatiana, thank you again for coming to the dojo. We appreciate you. We love you.
Sure.
We always, want to elevate these black voices, and we anytime we can have you on. If you want to, talk about something on our little podcast, feel free.
I appreciate that. Thank you all again. I didn't get to speak to every single person like one-on-one, but thank you very much.
I mean, they here. We just can't hear them and shit.
But no, for real. Thank you for even thinking about me, wanting me on the show. I appreciate it, and thank you for letting me plug all things For All Nerds.
No problem. You have a good night. Please be safe. Be well out here. We want to have you back. Just stay in good health. Hope you and your family is all right, and we'll talk to you soon.
All right, man. Peace. Thank you.
Peace.